welcome. Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and honoured guests. Thank you for joining us this afternoon to celebrate the participation of schools in Bath and North East Somerset in the Inclusion Quality Month. My name is Nigel Harrisson, Head of Education Inclusion Service within Children's Services in Bath and North East Somerset, and I'm your host for this afternoon's proceedings. This afternoon rightly belongs to our children and young people, but I would just like to take a minute to set the scene for the grown-ups, if I may. This event is about celebrating the inclusion of everyone in our schools and recognising all the hard work that they have undertaken in developing their inclusive practices. Inclusion is not an easy concept to grasp. Inclusion is more than just an issue of school placement. It is not about making the child fit a particular school system, and it's not about closing special schools that you may have read in the press from time to time. Indeed, inclusion is much wider than special educational needs, and our special schools are central to our inclusive values. Inclusion focuses upon making fundamental changes within the school system with the aim of ensuring that everyone, children and staff, are able to participate and achieve. It's about developing an inclusive community culture where everyone, staff, parents and children, are valued for whom they are and what they bring. Inclusion is the process of taking necessary steps to ensure that every young person has an equality of opportunity to develop socially, to learn and to enjoy community life. In Bath and North East Somerset, we recognise and value the uniqueness of every young person. All young people have the right to be accepted, to achieve and be valued by the contribution they make. As you will appreciate, there is no absolute end to being inclusive. Rather, it is a process of constantly examining and changing our thoughts, feelings and behaviours, so that those who might feel excluded will feel valued and included. If you have ever experienced that feeling of being excluded from something, or not valued for what you are or do, you will recognise the essential nature of the work taking place in our schools, not only through teaching about inclusion and diversity, but vitally by the way school communities live these values on a day-to-day basis. The importance of inclusion and learning to value diversity in this increasingly globalised world is highlighted in the news every day. Our society is changing. The world I grew up in as a boy is significantly different from the world our children will inherit. Some individuals and groups today still experience the feelings of isolation or exclusion from their community, or even society, and sometimes feel powerless to influence even their own lives. We can see in the media almost daily individuals and groups who feel excluded, leading to feelings of hurt and resentment, and occasionally leading to extreme and unpleasant actions. I'm sure you will agree with me that the sort of world we want our children to grow up in is one that is inclusive, values us and respects us all equally. Accepting difference and valuing diversity is the essence of inclusion, and our schools are playing a major part in that lifelong process. Therefore, today we ask you to join us in celebrating our journey so far. This afternoon you will see the schools who have taken part this year reflect a small but significant aspect of their journey. I'm sure by the end of the afternoon you will agree with us that inclusion is a road well worth travelling. Today we will see presentations from schools on the theme of inclusion. The schools who achieved the Inclusion Quality Mark this year are Camerton Church School, St Saviour's Church of England Nursery and Infant School, St Saviour's Church of England Junior School, Trinity C of E Primary School, Westfield Primary School and Wellsway School. In addition, we have representatives from 3 schools who have had the Inclusion Quality Mark renewed this year. These are Castle Primary School, St Julian's C of E Primary School and St Gregory's Catholic College. Just before we see the presentations, I would like to introduce Christine Jones, our Senior Inclusion Officer, who is the driving force behind the Bath and North East Somerset Inclusion Quality Mark, and ask her to say a few words on the award.